was awesome. Thank y'all so much. Thank you for doing that. Let's give it up for the worship team again, giving up their Friday nights to come hang out with us. Evan, and just appreciate you guys so much. I'll pray for us. Yeah, man. Thank y'all. Father, we love you. Oh, God, we thank you so much for tonight. I thank you for the lives in this room, the souls that you have spared, God, that you have delivered from death, from overdose, from the bondage of addiction, God, Lord, that you have broken the chains and you have set us free yet again. You've given us another chance and another opportunity, God, to come and to surrender to you, God, to get this thing right. Lord, we want to get it right. God, Lord, we know that we can only please you by faith, God. Lord, we know that it is the only thing effective that we'll ever do in this life for the kingdom and for eternity is to do it in your spirit, to do it in partnership with you, God, not doing our own thing. So, God, I pray, Lord, deliver us tonight from our own thing. Deliver us tonight from doing it our way. And, God, just the grace tonight, God, the power to be able to surrender our lives. Some of us don't even fully understand what that means. I'm sure I don't. But, God, we know, Lord, by faith, by grace, that you will make a way for us to fully surrender to you in 2025. We love you, Lord. We need you, God. We commit this night, this time into your hands in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. Well, I'm excited to be back up here tonight to serve you in a different, not really even in a different way. I mean, that's just part of it, you know. I mean, it just is you know, spare the rod, spoil the child. It's not obviously, you know, fun. I mean, I you know, it is, you know, not that I, you know, look at, you know, anybody out here in some weird way like you're my children or anything like that, but there is a level of, like, responsibility that I have to you to be able to serve you. And, you know, whenever I think about my kids, man, I mean, my kids, they are fun, they're wild, you know, I mean, it's all the stuff, but guess what? I mean, occasionally they get super disrespectful. You know what? And when I've been working all day and I come home, the last thing that I want to do is get on to them. As I'm sure some of y'all know. You know, normally you kind of think about, you know, the dad is like this disciplinary, hard figure, just the opposite of my house. Okay, Holly is she's tough. I come home from work. I don't like being mean. I don't like, you know, doing that and just I want to hang out and, you know, and they hadn't gotten on my nerves all day like they've gotten on hers or whatever. And so, you know, but I understand that if I really care about them and really love them, like, I have got to discipline them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, and I know that if I don't, I've got this very small window is they start to cement in their ways. You know, and so, and the same thing that is going on here is that, you know, we've lived this life, you cemented in certain ways, you ran its course, and it blew up in your face, okay? And landed you a good landing. I mean, hopefully this wasn't like the target for your life. Hopefully you didn't, like, graduate high school and be like, one day I'm going to make it to good landing. You know, like, that's the target. You came in there and talked to the guidance counselor, and they're like, oh, Mr. Smith, well, I can't. I got to get to good landing so I can graduate. Everybody else wants University of Georgia and, you know, some construction certification and all this stuff. They're like, not me. I want good landing, graduated summa cum laude from drug rehab. Like, I know that was not your goal, but what, you know, as it is in a marriage, you know, sometimes in a marriage, you don't ever ask for this, right? You never like, God, please make me a drug addict and let me burn my life to the ground and go to jail and for everything to go up in smoke. But what you'll find is that sometimes it takes an event like this to actually recalibrate and to reset everything. I mean, sometimes a marriage gets in a really bad spot, and sometimes it'll take a catastrophic event, or in times where I've heard people say, man, I'm looking across from the divorce attorney, and it was in that moment that I knew that something had to change. And that's what this season of life can be for you. It can be the most beautiful season of your life if you will allow it. It is my job as the founder, as the CEO, the leader, the whatever you want to call me, of Good Landing, is I can only do so much. Okay? We got rules. Don't get high. Don't drink. Don't fight. Don't whatever. But I also realize, like, I'm not running a Bible college. I realize that there's 400-ish drug addicts that are in this room right now that are trying to get clean. And with that comes some messes. I'm okay with some messes. I'm okay with failing as long as in the individual there is a desire to do what is right. Okay? Like if you're like, I don't care anymore. I'm going to go get high. I'm only here to be able to do this. I don't care about what y'all are doing at Good Landing. Like, I am going to get high and keep living the same life. Then it's my responsibility to see that and say, hey, this person is not stumbling or tripping along the way. They don't care. They just literally. Then that causes a type of correction that has to come. It's not fun. I like doing this. I like being in this spirit. I like talking about God's plan for your life and how much He loves you and how far you can go. Dude, I mean, I'm about it. I want to see you get so full of God. I want to see you make so much stinking money that you can't even believe it. I mean, you're sitting there right now and you can't figure out how to finance a weed eater. I want you in 3 years to be posting about how you just bought your first house. I want that. I ain't some kind of, weird, prosperity, but I mean, I do believe that God has a good life for you. He's got a plan for your life that is good. And it may or may not involve, great material wealth. Some of you might go to a mission field. And I want to see you whenever you're up here and they're commissioning you and they're getting ready to send you off to the Congo to preach the gospel or to send you over to wherever to, and that's whatever that plan is. I want to see you fully in line with whatever God's plan is for your life. Okay, that's the stuff I want to talk about. That's the stuff that I want to help you do. I want to give talks. I used to give talks all the time about the difference between a 501c3 and a for-profit entity. We used to talk about starting companies. I mean, I had a guy that came over here one time, and I was like, man, what do you want to do with your life? He's like, man, I really want to get to $12 an hour. He's like, I work for a landscaping company right now, and he's making $8 or $9 an hour, whatever it was, over in Oxford. And he was like, man, I really want to. I was like, man, why don't you own the landscaping company? You know what we did in group that day? Like we built out a pro forma. I just said, hey, I just, nobody his family never owned anything or whatever. And I was like, look, I was like, here, man, you don't have to have a $100,000 F-250 to come out of the gate. Why don't you go get you a Jeep Cherokee with a tow package and a little trailer and lawnmower, whatever, and now let's build out something what's called a pro forma. How many yards do you have to cut to be able to make money? How many yards do you have to get on a recurring monthly basis or whatever that's going to produce positive net revenue? I like talking about stuff like that. I like talking about that. I don't like talking about discharging a bunch of people, and that's not fun. Nobody likes that. I didn't sign up to do Good Landing to discharge people, but whenever you come in, but what you also have to understand, this ain't your grandmama's house. You know what I'm saying? My grandmama, she loved me to death, and they weren't weak, or my grandparents weren't weak, but they didn't know what they didn't know. They didn't understand whatever, you know what I'm saying? I come sneaking in the house at 7 o'clock in the morning after doing acid all night and coming in or whatever. They didn't understand that, and they loved me so much and saw me through that lens. I love you so much too, but unlike my grandmama, I will blow you out of my house. I ain't your rich uncle. You know what I'm saying? I ain't your grandmama. And if you got to go, then you got to go. And you have to understand too, that is love. That's the final intervention that I know how to do. I give you a couple of chances. You don't care. You think it's a joke. That's love. Mercy's love. But then also, whenever we're signing that discharge paperwork and saying, hey, you got to be out of here by tonight, and you have 3 options to get to, guess what? That's love too. That's my final tool that I've got to be able to say, hey man, I love you. You're hurting people here. You don't care. I hope this gets your attention, and I hope that you go get it at the next program. And if I got to be the villain in your life, so be it. So be it. If I got to be the villain, if you got to be like, I don't care. You might be here in a year. I just got my year, and Trey kicked me out. If that's the fire that it took for you to feel slighted to go get your year, dude, I'll be the villain in your life. I'll be the villain in your life. You can hate me all the way to the end. That's fine. I got no problem being a villain in a lot of people's lives. I'm just fine being the villain in your life, okay? Sometimes we need some of that stuff. Sometimes you need to just, it might take a little bit of like, and then maybe at the next one, you won't go in there acting all crazy like that. You're like, man, that dude, maybe that mercy they're showing me isn't weakness. Maybe I should actually take it at face value and realize that it's the gift of God being displayed through somebody else. And maybe I shouldn't have this nasty little attitude every time I walk around here making everybody's life difficult. And maybe I should step up and receive that with some humility and run the play. So, that's love too. So here's the deal. We're going to talk about community tonight. I'm going to run through this. I'm not going to be here a long time, but I want to give you some framework. And there's a place called Wellspring. They actually use it at this church. And I'm going to give you the framework real quick, and then we're going to talk about community, okay? I'm going to run through this real quick. God is telling a bigger story, okay? Right? Like we all get so caught up. I want you to be caught up in God's story, God's plan for your life. But there's a bigger story that's being told. And it's all going to come to fruition in Armageddon, and everything, good and evil, are going to face off in that great day, and God's going to win, right? We know the rest of the story. We know how it wins. We know that God wins and all of that. It's a big story, okay? And you have a part to play in God's story. You have a part to play in God's will for your life right now. God has a plan for your life, and it's better than Good Landing, okay? It is better than you being at drug rehab. I am so glad that you are here at Good Landing. But the goal isn't for you to be in all these treatment centers and this be this perpetual door and cycle that you're always in, okay? You come here, God's going to meet you here if you will allow him, and then he is going to set you dead center on the highway of his will. That's what God wants to do with your life. He wants to put you. That's a prayer for my life all the time, saying, God, I want to be dead center in the highway of your will. I want you to roadblock the ways to nowhere. Now, I know some of that stuff I got to do on my own. Some of that is going to be temptation. There's going to be all these shiny things that try to get us distracted, right? But I want to make sure, you can't really see it up here, but I look at these tiles right here, and I'm in the middle of these 2 tiles, and I'm walking down. I want God to protect me from roadblocks and detours, okay? What are things like that? There used to be a time in my life where I wanted to know, I need to know so-and-so, and I need to be connected with the next coolest big, dude, I don't care who you are, what revival you just started, how much money you made in 2024. I could care less if I ever talk to that person, whoever the latest, greatest, cool person is, unless God has it strategically set up for me to be in partnership. My wife asks me all the time, why ain't you got friends? I'm like, I ain't got time I don't have time. And I don't mean that, because we do need a social network, but I need friends, not for the sake of but I'll catch myself sitting down and talking to somebody sometime, and I'm thinking what am I even doing here? What's the purpose of this? Is it really just to talk about 9U baseball? Is this really I'm just sitting there thinking sometimes, I don't want to waste my life with friendships that don't mean anything. A lot of cool people out there. I know a lot of cool people. Some of the funniest people. Some of y'all, right? You know how when you move to a new city and you're like, man, it ain't like my old friends, because you can't build 20 years worth of friendships overnight, right? So I got friends of mine that are some of the coolest, funniest, greatest people that I would love to hang out with. They talk like me. They think like me. We got inside jokes. They're hilarious. I like them, right? But guess what? I don't call them and I don't talk to them because it's meaningless. That was for a season, you know what I'm saying, way back years ago, and they are not for this season, and they are not for the future anymore, and so I don't pick up the phone and call them anymore. Okay? And so those are all these detours. I don't want to go down that detour. I don't want to go down there. God didn't allow me to go back and move back to my hometown. Nothing wrong if that's what his plan is for you, but for me, it's not to go back there. I go back, I see my dad, I eat at my 2 or 3 favorite restaurants, and I get out of there, and I come back to Atlanta. This is what God's plan is for my life. Being here at Good Landing, right? I'm not looking for the latest, greatest. Somebody calls me and, hey, I want to start this company, or I want to start this company. Hey, we should do this, and we should do that. Hey, I don't want to hear that noise. Here's what I'm doing. Here's what I know. This is what I understand. This is what I'm good at. This is where I'm at. This is what God's called me to do. It doesn't mean that some of them might not be, but I'm just telling, man, if you're not careful, dude, so many things are here to distract you and to pull you out of it. God has a plan for your life. And if you would pray something during this time that you have here, God, put me dead center, highway of your will, and roadblock the ways to nowhere. So many distractions, so many people that want to, and they don't mean bad. You know, you just get around somebody, like I've got a certain, and once you start to figure out what you respond to, the better you're going to be, okay? I work out. I got a certain way that I work out, all right? Look, for so many times, man, I'd get in a groove, I'd start to get dialed in physically, and then all of a sudden I meet the CrossFit guy. You need to come over here and do CrossFit. You know what I'm saying? I get a CrossFit. I don't like CrossFit. I don't, it's nothing wrong with it. I ain't got nothing against it. I know that I don't do well with it. You know, I hired a virtual trainer. I thought, man, I got a guy, you know, I want my meal plan. I'm going to get in. I'm going to check in. I'll get my virtual trainer. You know what? I didn't show up for any of those appointments. I don't do good with the virtual trainer. I understand me. I understand how I work out. You know what I'm saying? You want to call me now, but, oh, Dre, you need to come over here and check out. Like, no, dude. I know what works for me. If I go and do that, all it's going to be is a distraction. You're going to mess me up on what I'm doing. I'm going to get over here. I'm not going to commit to it. And then I'm going to have to spend another month writing the ship to get me back dialed in because, do you see what I'm saying? And you've got to be able to look at your life and figure out, man, like, what am I called to? And there's going to be some trial and error. You know, I got people that are in leadership right now. You know, God's going to touch your life in here. If you'll allow him, God's going to touch your life. And you're probably going to have a thought, man, maybe I should do this full time. Dude, I love this. I've had more people on their first Friday night here come back and be like, I'm all in. I'm moving my family here. And then I'll see them a month later and like, nah, I'm going back to work. I'm like, yeah. You know, and that's fine. That is totally fine that that's where you're at. Some of you will finish here and say, man, I'm going to go into leadership. And after you do it for 30 days, you're like, look, man, I am so glad I'm clean. I don't care if I ever talk to another drug addict as long as I live. That's for somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to go back to business. I want to go to law school. I want to go be away from everybody and work on diesel trucks in the middle of the night. I don't care about ever doing anything in recovery again. That's fine too. That's fine. You know what you're good at. This is not, I'm not trying to get you. You know, that's the problem sometimes with people with the microphone. You know, who normally gets the microphone in the church outside of the pastor is the evangelist, okay? The evangelist, the soul winner, right? So the soul winner's come back, man, you guys are worthless. You need to be out there winning souls, okay? And yes, but for some of you, that's not your gift. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not like that. That's not what you're going to do. But your gift is going to be something administrative. You see what I'm saying? I mean, like Good Landing. Like, dude, I am terrible at compliance. Like, we'd all go to jail if I was in charge of compliance. Okay? I hate the details. I hate the minutia. I hate all that stuff. So there's people at Good Landing that are really gifted in details, and that's what they do. That's how you don't even know they work here. You've never seen them before. You never met them. You don't know what they do. You wouldn't even know. You know what I'm saying? If you walked in right now, you probably think they're a client, or you wouldn't even know who they are. And they are one of the key people that drive the engine forward, and you've never even seen them before. Okay? So that's how it is. And these sound bites, that sound, really well. And I've got to be, my journey, I didn't deal with, physical ailments. It's one thing to be like, I want to be careful in like how I say this. But my recovery journey, what if, one of you gets clean and then you leave here and you get hit by an 18-wheeler the day after graduation, and then you've got to take opioids. There is no like doing the surgery without them or whatever it might be. And then all of a sudden, the absolute don't touch, whatever it might be, all of a sudden you've got a different journey now. Some of you are like, oh, I knew it, I could do opioids. No, you can't. No, you can't. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that there's not this complete linear blueprint that I can take exactly what I did and then stamp it on you and say, go do it this way. Fitness was a huge part of my life. Some of y'all care less about fitness. You know what I'm saying? Fitness to you is a 5-minute walk in the morning, you know what I'm saying? And just keeping your cholesterol at your lipid panel. I'm learning about that now. I'm 45, so I learned about lipid panels now. Good God. And so that's your thing, and that's what is what you call being in shape. For me, being in shape and, all this other stuff, it was a huge part of my recovery. Like a huge part. Dude, I want you to be in shape, but I don't care if you bench 300 pounds. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if you ever walk into a stinking weight room. You know what I'm saying? I think it would probably benefit you at some level, but like you don't need to go to the gym 5 days a week and put in an hour and a half and be worried about your PRs for you to be all that God has called you to be whenever you might not even care about that. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, some of you, I talk about, sharing my story and what that was. For some of you that want to speak and that care to speak, then you're going to care more about my past. Some of you are like, dude, I don't ever want a microphone. I don't want a microphone. I'm not going to share my story. I don't like that. I want to be behind the scenes. I might share it with somebody in a one-on-one setting, but I don't ever want a microphone. And that's fine. So you know what I'm saying? Like, you've got to figure out what God is doing in your life. And some of that will be trial and error. Some of that will be, but the faster that you can figure out what your production quadrant is, where you're going to get the most out of you, right? I told you, I don't like compliance. Can I do compliance? Yeah, but I'm going to be miserable. And it's not going to be good if on a Friday night, if I get my compliance girl and get her up here with the microphone and then I go do compliance. All of y'all are going to be asleep and I'm going to be miserable over in a compliance room dropping all kinds of balls. Does that make sense? And so it's just that you've got to think about what's going to be a potential distraction to God's will for your life, okay? Think about that. Okay, you have a part to play in it, all right? The enemy is hunting you to take you out of the story, okay? That's why you're all here. Drug addiction was the devil's plan to remove you out of God's will, okay? And you have to realize that you didn't get there because of some wild campaign. I don't think any of y'all like woke up one morning and were like, I want to be the most evil, wicked, lying, manipulative person in my hometown. And you got up one day and you're like, and you just got like a list and started watching YouTube videos of like, man, how can I be the dirtiest scumbag on the planet, okay? But if you're anything like me, we got pretty darn close, okay? And we were, but the way that it happened for me, was I was playing basketball at Bears Gym in Clarksdale, Mississippi, and I was in the 10th grade, and two seniors, Wayne and Bip, walked up to me, and this is literally how it went. Hey, man, we heard you're pretty cool. You gonna go out drinking with us this Friday? Yeah. I didn't even know what it meant, okay? And next thing you know, I'm at my buddy's house. Dude, I'm an idiot. You know what I'm saying? I don't know anything. I go out, I get in this maroon Ford Explorer, and we go out in the middle of nowhere, and I'm funneling beer and doing all the things, right, having the time of my life. And I realized in that moment that the alcohol cured me. The alcohol cured my anxiety and allowed me to be free for really the very first time in my life. I wasn't some like evil, wicked, like, dude, let's go out and become a drug addict. It cured me. It fixed me. And I remember overnight, probably like a lot of y'all, I'm like, dude, I was sports in school and vice president of the National Junior Honor Society, and overnight, I was about a different life. I was about partying, and it wasn't like, because I just was like, dude, like, why have y'all been hiding this from me? This is awesome. This is the most, and then I just kept going. I kept going. I mean, I remember, the cycle of it. I mean, and then you finally figure out whatever your drug of choice is. Some of y'all stopped with alcohol. Some of us went and figured out until we found what our thing was. And some of you switched back and forth or whatever it was until eventually you realize, like, dude, I'm in a prison and I can't not do this anymore. And what healed me at one point has now become the slave master of my life, and it dictates, and it's taking me to places that I don't want to go anymore. And that's the way that it played out, and that's how you got here, and that's how evil was hunting you, and that's how unassuming that it was in your life, and it will still try to do things like that, subtle things, to hunt and to pull you out. So here's what you got to know about community, okay? It's the final thing, okay? Evil's hunting you. Evil did not stop hunting you because you got the good landing. Evil now is still trying to pull you out, okay? And it will normally do it by way of people, okay? It's going to try to use your roommates to offend you, to insult you. It's going to try to pull you into other groups that aren't serious about their recovery. So what you've got to do is, number one, you got to define what it is that you are doing. Why are you here? Like, what is good landing? Is it a social club? Is it a place where you can come and flex and bring your Jordan collection to wow all of us? I mean, I love when people do that and then they get stolen and they want me to replace them. So just so you know, whatever is getting stolen, I am not replacing, okay? In case you didn't know it, you are not at Bible college. All right? So if you brought your Rolexes and your Jordans and you decided to put them in there, and then even worse, sometimes somebody will get arrested. They'll come back 60 days later and be like, oh, my food. And I'm like, yes, man. Go to finance. We'll cut you a check for all that. The answer is no, unequivocally no, okay? Whatever it is, no, I'm not replacing it. That's on you, okay? You got yourself here. It shouldn't happen. I don't want it to happen, all right? But anyway, all right, so evil is hunting you to eliminate you from the story, from God's will for your life. It's hunting me all the time. You think the enemy likes me up here telling y'all about God, telling y'all about how to beat addiction? You don't think that I got all kinds of opportunity and options that come my way to destroy my life on a daily basis? You think I'm just floating around up in a cloud, you know what I'm saying, with angels spitting Bible verses back and forth? No, not at all. That's not what happened. It's everywhere. The enemy is everywhere. He's at the T-ball field. He's on the way to come preach at Recovery Church. He's everywhere. The enemy does not want me doing this. He will hunt me in every possible way that he can, just like he's hunting you. He wants you to lose your temper and to blow up and to do something so crazy to get blown out of this place. He wants you to get so offended and to get in your mind to say, oh, it was actually better out there. He wants to get in your head so much to get you to where you decide, you know what, I better go back out there, or just to get you, and even if he can't get you to leave, if he can't just come to you and just say, hey, Sheila, leave, go back to the trap house. That's not going to work, but he'll plant a thought in there and be like, hey, why don't you see what Billy's doing? You know what I'm saying? Why don't you go over there and see, what Richie's doing back over at at the whatever. Let's just call back over there and see who got busted. See if so-and-so. So just call back over there and talk to Billy Bob and just see if so-and-so was on the indictment. And then you call, and they start talking to you about what's on the table in front of them right there. And you were like, oh, man, I didn't sign up for that. And next thing you know, man, some hooks in you. And you can taste it, and you can see it, and it's got you. Evil is hunting you. It's hunting you. It wants to eliminate you from the story, man. These are age-old tactics, man. It's just like we're up here watching game film for a game. I'm watching Kirby right now. Kirby ain't happy with them freshmen right now. I heard Gunner's interview the other day. The old starting quarterbacks and gone down to Miami. I think he'd already gotten all kinds of trouble down there. And they're going to be preparing for their schedule this year. And they're going to figure out what Alabama is doing. They're going to figure out what Texas is doing. And they're going to watch game film. I mean, it is nothing. That's what's going on right here. I mean, all I'm trying to do is a guide in your life for this season of your life. You're only going to have me for about 3 months, okay? Roughly 3 months, 60 days to 90 days, you're going to have me in your life. And all I am is a guide. I'm just serving as just an interim coach in your life to say, hey, as somebody that's beat addiction, here's what the enemy's going to do. Now, you can act like you bigger than it and you can figure it out, and you ain't worried about Alabama secondary and whatever it is, and that's fine. You can sleep on them all you want to, but when the lights come on, we all going to figure out what happened. Because all of this stuff up here that I'm trying to tell you about, the enemy hunting you and trying to eliminate you out of God's will for your life, these are just age-old tactics. And he's going to do it in some type of way like that, okay? And oftentimes for y'all, it's going to wear a skirt. And oftentimes for y'all, it's going to be a dude, okay? And that's the way this thing is typically going to work, that is going to try to pull you out of here, and you got to be careful. I mean, there's a reason why, I spent all that money to get the women's program across the street, to give you a better chance, I mean, nobody, when you change your relationship with, like, what's going on, then you can see it better. Like, it's not discipline. You have to realize, even though you didn't formally, call and say, hey, I want to hire a trainer. I want to hire, somebody. That's what you did. Like, that's what you're doing right now. You have hired this team to make sure that you get well. And we're just doing the best that we know how to do to be able to create the environment, Like, yeah, man, I wish that, I could, partner every one of you up. Like, okay, you're gonna have 3. I'm gonna give you 3 guys assigned to you, and they all got 6 months clean. And then I'm gonna have you 2 guys that got a year clean. And then I'm gonna have you 1 mentor that's got 20 years clean. And y'all are all gonna live in a house together. Well, that ain't the way that it works. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no business model that works that way. I don't even know how to set it up like that. It's like school. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just, you're ultimately all freshmen right now. It's a whole freshman class right now, okay? And I guess I'm like a senior in the recovery game that is just doing my best to try to pass off what is going to be some non-negotiable principles that will guide your life to help get you there. Now, the expression of that's going to be all different. You see what I'm saying? Like, I did recovery. Some of y'all are going to go do all different types of things, but we are here. I mean, it's separate. The program, you know what I'm saying? Like, this whole Red Sea thing or whatever is going on right here that has you separated is not because I don't want you to have a good time, okay? That is because I remember what I was like, and the reason that I went through 10 treatment centers and I didn't get sober on my first one was because of them, okay? They ruined it for me, all right? And I am trying to not let them ruin it for you, know what I'm saying? So, they ruined it. I would have got clean at 18. So, The evil's hunting you. Clearly I'm joking, but I'm not. Guess what God has set up for our protection? Community. That's it. You know, I don't know how many episodes of Animal Planet. I mean, look, if you get on my phone right now and you start, you know how your reels like show you what you want to see, right? You're going to see like, if you start going through my reels, you're going to see supercars, you're going to see a bunch of stuff about pro basketball, and you're going to see all different types of scenes from Africa, and it's normally going to be king cobras versus, you know, some other snake, and it's going to be lions killing stuff or what. I don't know if any of y'all's feed is like that. When you go through mine, it's going to be lions and stuff like that are hunting. And what you're always going to see is the weakest animal that falls out. You know, lions are tough, they're strong, but what you don't see them do is run into a herd of Cape buffalo and go in there and snatch the biggest alpha Cape buffalo out of the middle. They never do that. They're going to go typically get the weakest, you know, baby calf or whatever you call them, and they're going to pull that one out, and that's the one they're going to kill, okay? So it's no difference. When you have the strength of the herd, you have the strength of the group in community, okay? And so the way the enemy is going to break that down is to isolate you and try to get you distracted, okay? Don't think about your recovery anymore. You know, all I want you to do is just start, you know, thinking about somebody over here. I want you to start thinking about, you know, some guy that's still out there that's getting high or whatever it might be. And next thing you know, you're not focused on your relationship with God. You're not worried about community anymore. You're isolating. You got your face off in that stinking phone all day long, and you're not building relationships. And next thing you know, the enemy, you are now an easy target for the enemy, and the enemy can pick you off. I'm telling you, this is it. You run the stinking play or not run the play, I don't care. I'm just telling you, that's what's happening. That is what is happening right now. He can pull you out, get you offended. So-and-so didn't talk to me right. Like, do you realize where you just came from? Was the dope man talking to you politely? When you showed up with no money trying to buy something? Had they had an HR conference, a human resources on how to politely let you know? Do you remember how you were talked to out there? Do you remember how people looked at you out there? I do. I remember running all my old friends from high school, and them literally, I could feel their embarrassment of having to run into me out on the street and have a 5-minute conversation with me. I could feel how embarrassed they were of me. So don't talk about disrespect and he disrespected me. You have the ultimate disrespect that we have done it to ourselves. And by us staying out there, that is, don't come in here with all of a sudden so indignant. I'm telling you, the absolute worst attitudes, the ones that'll complain the most about anything in here will be the guys that walk straight up out of the meth lab in here and never even set foot in an apartment that night. So will be the ones that are complaining the most about it. It's insane. Absolute insanity. Absolute insanity. All right. So, it's 5:55. I'm getting ready to move through this real quick. So we're going to talk about community. Number one, you got to figure out, you got to identify why you're here. Because if you don't know why you're here, then you don't know what your expectations are. Some of you are here, you hadn't even thought about it. You're just here. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of how your whole life's been. Man, I just end up here, I end up there. I don't really think about it. I'm just kind of in the wind. I just figured out I'm at so-and-so's house. I'm in this city. I'm chasing a bag of dope. And now you're here and you hadn't even really thought about it, okay? Well, let me tell you, as is defined by the Department of Community Health of the great state of Georgia, you are in what is called a PHP or IOP program, okay? That stands for Partial Hospitalization Program, okay? And intensive outpatient, that's the IOP, okay? That is a healthcare facility, okay? This is not a popularity contest. This isn't a place for you to come be cool. This isn't a place for you to come. You are in drug rehab that is paid for by your mental health benefits of your insurance policy, okay? And I mean that with all the respect in the world, but I don't want you to be confused about it, because if you are not sure of where you are or why you're here, then you're going to show up every day not knowing how to act, okay? Like, you are here to get well and to get free of drugs and alcohol, okay? That is why this place exists. That's why I'm here, all right? Good Landing is the answer to a problem of drug addiction. Over 20 million drug addicts in the United States of America over the age of 12 years old, and we are a solution to that problem. So you can be swept up in the epidemic, and you're only going to be here for a second, you know what I'm saying? And if you want to go out like that, that's fine, go out like that, okay? We are here to help people. So don't be confused about why you're here or what you are doing. This is not a social club. It's not a country club. It's not an after-school program. It's not a football team. It's a rehab, here to serve you, to get you off drugs and alcohol. So show up and demand that. Get that. Look, I mean, I want you to have some friends whenever you get here. I want you to have a good time. I got it scheduled on my day. If you look on my to-do list, number 2 or 3 is to laugh and have a good time. I got that scheduled in my day. I want to make sure that I want you to have a laugh and have a good time. All right? I'm going to laugh and have a good time. But I want to be serious about understanding what I'm doing and where I'm at. I want to make sure that whenever I show up to the gym, that I understand why I'm in the gym. I'm not there to run for mayor of Gwinnett County. I might want to talk to a couple people, but I don't want to sit there and have, 45 minutes worth of conversation. I want to get in there, I want to get my work done, I want to get my workout, and then I want to get out of there, okay? I'm hoping that you are here to do what the purpose of drug rehab is to get delivered from drugs and alcohol and then to get out of here. You know how many friends that I'm friends with from all my treatment centers that I went through? 0. There might be one. I might be forgetting one that I'm friends with right now. But I'm just telling you, I'm not saying that I don't want you, but sometimes, man, we'll get in here and we'll have these weird alliances and friendships. Dude, I'm not friends with anybody. I mean, nobody. I'm like, man, remember back in 99 when we were in the Harbor House in Tupelo, I ain't talking to them about that. I don't remember not one person's name. I just remember my counselor had been through 16 rehabs. That's it. That's all I remember. Make sure that you understand why you're here, okay? There's a responsibility that I have, and guess what? There's a responsibility that you have. What's that guy's name that trained Michael Jordan? He trained Jordan, he trained Kobe, he wrote some book. Anybody remember? Which readers in here? I can't think of the guy's name, but he popped up in my feed today. And anyway, that guy's a trainer. He trained Jordan, he trained Kobe. I mean, guy's like he's a killer. And this was who Jordan trusted with his life, okay? But guess what? Every one of us in here, if we had the money to do it, we could all go hire the same guy. He got a price. Tim Grover. That's exactly right. Thank you for being on your phone during while I'm talking. Just kidding. That's totally acceptable. I appreciate it. You could be a good executive administrative assistant. You could help me out while I'm up here. But anyway, Tim Grover, okay, look him up. The guy I like the guy. I probably wouldn't let him get up here and speak on a Friday night. He had to be like a Tuesday morning. He's probably too rough for Friday night. But this guy was, some of the greatest athletes that ever lived trusted him with their training. But guess what? If you went and hired him and he told you what to do, but you couldn't stop, eating Lay's potato chips and Twinkies at midnight, were always late, for whenever your scheduled time with him was, and then you leave there and give him a bad Google review, or tell him he ain't no good or he's worthless or whatever. And the guy's like, dude, I got Jordan and Kobe. Like, they're going to attribute their success to me, but because you wouldn't follow the plan, now you're going to try to turn around and say he wasn't any good? You're going to try to leave here and be like, oh, good landing, oh, good landing. I'm telling you what, good landing is good. It'll produce more clean time than any other place that I know of that's manufacturing. You look around the stinking room and see years and multiple years and people showing up here almost every Friday night that are not invited, unannounced, picking up years and multiple years. You walk around, man, this place don't work. This place works. It works. I mean, and that's on you. Like, you got to buy in. You got to do the work. You got to show up. But if you show up with this kind of billy goat attitude, and you're looking to headbutt and to go head up with every single person that comes up here, and you're looking for a reason to buy in, then you're going to find that. You will find that. You'll figure out reasons why you don't like it and this and that, and I wish it was this way or what. Dude, stop, man. Like, I understand, like, we're not perfect, but bro, you know, in all humility, how many people that are in a group right now that's an absolute snooze fest? I mean, I remember being I had to go to the state hospital one time. My dad got fed up with me. Probably hanging out with you. And I ended up in the state hospital, and I'll never forget Chuck. Chuck was my counselor. Chuck would fall asleep during group, start snoring in his chair during group. I mean, it's just like, dude. I mean, I'm not saying like I'm the best, but I mean, like, dude, you get it served up to you in a way that if you want to run with it, you can run with it. And I would like to say that the information, and when I'm thinking about what I'm going to give you, like, I am thinking about what you need to be able to lay hold of and to be able to run with. Not everybody's getting it this way. Not everybody is getting the information this way. And sometimes, man, you go to these places, man, there'll be $65,000 a month. And next day you go out there and they're teaching you all the chemistry and what the brain's doing. I think there's a real place for that. And next thing you know, you'll leave there with a PhD in serotonin and dopamines, and you got all the charts, but then you don't know how to go apply real recovery to your life. Like, great, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're on your way to being a neurosurgeon, but you don't know how to walk out recovery. I'm just trying to tell you that you get this right here and you are well on your way. I'm trying to teach you how community works. You ain't got to be a part of my community. I don't care. You go hang out with all the nerdy little blue-haired people in whatever room you want to, but this is how it works. You ain't got to like people like me. You ain't got to like people like me. That's fine. You ain't got to subscribe to my style, but you will get in a tribe, whatever that church is, whoever those people are, and this is how it's got to work, whatever type of, you know, flavor you like on it, okay? And that's fine. All right? Understand this. When my dad was in basic training for the military, he was in the reserve, okay? This is during Vietnam. What that means is that he was not going over to Vietnam, all right? And my dad, he's probably watching tonight. He served his country. If they would have asked him to go over there, he wasn't some conscientious objector or anything like that. If they would have asked him to go downrange, he would have gone downrange, okay? But he told me about the difference between those boys that were coming through basic training, that were getting ready to see live rounds over in Vietnam, versus somebody that knew they were getting ready to go back to somewhere stateside and not see any bullets, okay? Every one of y'all are getting ready to see live fire. Every last one of you are going to be hunted. By your drug of choice, it is coming. You're not exempt from it. The war is coming to your front door. It will be there. It'll probably happen while you're in here, and if by some chance you get on a pink cloud and ride that out, at some point you're going to graduate from here and you're going to be there, and it'll come. I mean, I remember, I think I had like 9 months clean. I had a job. I had my first sales job. I was 21 years old in Clarksdale, Mississippi, making $23,000 a year. I thought I was so stinking rich, I couldn't even spend all the money. I was loaded. And I'll never forget a guy by the name of Preacher, of all things, walks up in Unicell and pulls out a handful of dope right in front of me. That's the first time that I'd seen my drug of choice. That joker walked up right there and pulled it out. Right there. And I mean, there it was. It's coming. I don't know how it's going to come. There is no way that I can insulate you. There's no way that I can teach you out of the ability to avoid it. Like, it is coming. So understand, and it will come. And I'm telling you, if I was not prepared and I was not ready, then I would have been picked off right there that day. I mean, that was my kryptonite in somebody's hand right there in front of me that I could have taken, it could have been game over. It's haunted me since I've been in here. I mean, look, man, it just, you own a drug rehab, you start a drug rehab, you do, give your life to it doesn't stop. You get momentum where you're not worried about it, but it'll come, man. So this is a place to heal if you will allow it to be a place to heal. A golf course is a place to play golf. I'm not a golfer. I don't like golf. I think it's stupid, okay? Some of y'all love golf. I think it's great that you love golf, okay? I have a ton of respect for the sport and the fact that I believe that it's hard, but I've never been out on a golf course enjoying myself and just thinking, man, this is amazing. There's no offense to golf and all you golfers and all you people that love it, okay? But the one thing that I do know about golf, a golf course is a place to play golf unless you get a couple knuckleheads out there that start playing really slow and they don't care about anybody else behind them and they're drinking and they're having a good time and they're doing everything else, and all of a sudden that golf course is no longer a golf course and it gets everybody else jammed up that came out there to show up to play golf. And it's the same way in here. This is a rehab and a place for everybody to get well unless you think that it's something else or you show up on a daily basis to make it something that it's not. And that's what's been going on lately. That's what has been going on lately, is that there are people that are here that are inside of a place to get well, and you are making it everything but that. And whenever there is buy-in, there's only so much that I can do. And I'm telling you, I have tied my staff's hand of like, man, we're not going to discharge. We're going to figure out a way. We're going to err on the side of mercy. And they all got in my office yesterday, and they said, man, it is out of control. It's out of control. And so we know how to get it back in control. But it comes that we're going to do our part, okay? But you have to do your part to buy in, to make sure that you are making this place. There's only, like I said, there's only so much I can do, man. When I see Skin and I see some of these other guys run these Bible studies after hours, man, that's what it's about, dude. I mean, that stuff, man, you guys that are getting up there, not just him, but I mean, I'm talking people that are getting out and that are saying, hey, man, tonight we're going to do something different. We're going to do something to enhance this program. I want to add value to it. That's what changes everything. Okay, the next thing that you want to look at in a community when you leave here or wherever you go to the next place, are they competent? Can they really help you, okay? Like, I'm not, no offense, but I'm not hiring a physical trainer that looks like he struggles with Krispy Kremes. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not. All right? I'm not hiring that trainer. I don't care how much knowledge and kinesiology and fitness, whatever, wherever they went, I ain't hiring them, okay? You got to look around and say, hey, is this place competent? Can they help you if you will allow them to help you? Yes, we can. It might not be exactly your flavor or the way that you wish that it would, but there's somebody in here that you find out you might not like listening to me. I might be the most boring person that you've ever heard. Look, there is somebody back there against that wall or outside that's a house manager or somebody that can serve it up to you in a way that you'll like it. And they are here with real clean time. All right? And then the final thing, so, Jesus always talked about grace and truth. Okay, love and accountability. You want people to care about you. You want to believe that they love you and that they care about you, okay? And, I talk, when we do our leadership training, one of the talks that I do is the heart for the addict. I can promise you, it might not be on a daily basis, but Good Landing was started out of tears. It was started out of tears. I remember whenever I was thinking, when I was on the fence about whether or not I was going to start Good Landing or not, there was a family who are dear friends of mine that are back in Clarksdale, and they had a son that was 27 years old. He came from one of the most prominent families in our town. And at 27 years old, he died of a drug overdose after his family had fought for him and fought for him and fought for him. And I was on the fence, okay? I had a good job. I was making well over 6 figures. I flied around the United States, sitting first class, doing all these lectures and stuff. I had an incredible life, a life that I thought that I would never have. I had about 4 years clean at the time, and then I got this opportunity to start Good Landing. And I was like, I knew that I wasn't gonna like end up homeless or something, but I was like, dude, if I go and try to do this thing and I fail, like I'm not a doctor, like I can't just go across the street and make the kind of money that I was making. I mean, I had grinded and worked and gotten myself, into this spot. And when this young man died, 27 years old, his sister posted a picture, a baby picture of him and her, and he resembled my son. And I saw that picture come through on social media, and I was sitting there and I'm looking at this kid. I mean, he's probably, 4 or 5 years old at the time, and I'm just looking at this kid, and he's got the little curls in his hair like my son had, and I'm just like, how is it that this kid right here grew up to become a drug addict that would eventually take his life? He had the whole world. Anything that he could have dreamed up, man, his parents could have made happen for him. Any kind of wild idea about a company or a business or whatever. He had unbelievable, but yet even in the middle of all that drug addiction was so strong that it took this kid's life. And I remember pulling over. Because, I mean, man, when you've been in addiction this long, man, I mean, like, bro, like if you've been here, and I don't mean to sound like calloused or whatever, but we desensitized to like overdoses and deaths and stuff like that. If you've been in this game any amount of time, dude, we've lost more people. I've lost more people than I can remember. Like it's like a school shooting. I mean, it's just like, oh, another one. Click, flip, whatever. I mean, it just doesn't do to us like it did whenever that first one kicked off in Pearl, Mississippi or wherever it was. It just does not do. And I'm telling you, God used this event and the way that he did it to shatter my life. I mean, I would get back in town, driving back home. And some of my favorite times, I'd be driving back from the airport in South Atlanta, driving back up here to Gwinnett. It'd be late at night. We'd normally fly in like on a late Friday night, and I'd be driving home, and I remember just weeping uncontrollably. And that was the moment where I knew that I couldn't play it safe anymore, that I had to jump off the ledge and do something about addiction, do something in a real way. And that's what this place was born out of. It was born out of a love as I look and I think about my children. I think, because, I mean, when we get in here, like, y'all ain't the easiest people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't no, 5 and 6 year old little boys walking in here anymore. Like, we done been there. We done seen some stuff. We're rough. We're mean. We understand how the world works or whatever. But, man, I mean, you got to have somebody that is thinking about you from that time of, man, like, what went sideways in your life that got you to where you're at right now. And somebody like me that you hadn't burned a million times, that I can look past that stuff and see who you can be when other people cannot see who you can be. That is what all of this is about, okay? Because your family, they can't see anymore. You done burned them so many times. I mean, they're just like, dude, I don't even know what to do anymore. Your spouses, I mean, law enforcement. I mean, I was talking to a judge. They don't understand. They don't even know how to understand. I mean, I was sitting there with a buddy of mine on a gun charge in Oxford. I mean, I think I told y'all about this. I mean, this was like a few months ago. And the judge was saying because he had 7 years clean and relapsed, that she believed that there was no hope for him. And I'm like, man, I said, I relapsed at 5 years clean. I burned it down at 5 years clean. And now I'm the largest rehab in the United States of America. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, dude, like, you are not too far gone. You are not too far gone. And I'm not talking about just to live like some mediocre life. Like, I'm going to fight and contend for you to go. So I'm going to push you, challenge you, get you to think bigger than like, yeah, like I want you to get clean, but that's the most elementary step of the process. That's the most elementary step of the process. Chick-fil-A, which I don't know how many billions of dollars that they started last year, that was started by a 55-year-old man. Started by a 55-year-old man. I wasn't some 25-year-old freak, phenom that went and started that. That's a 55-year-old man that kicked that thing off. Why not you? Why not you? Why can't God raise you up right now out of a place where somebody wouldn't even trust you with the key to their shed, much less their house, and that in a few years that you could be starting something that's going to change the world? Dude, there's a corporate cleaning business. I mean, I don't even know what the corporate cleaning industry is worth right now. There's some guys up in, I think in Cleveland, Ohio, they started She's Got a Name Corporate Cleaning. It was women that had been rescued out of human trafficking. They started a corporate cleaning, and I believe in their second year, they broke $2 million in revenue. $2 million in revenue. Taking throwaways, you know what I'm saying, that somebody probably wouldn't hire to, do anything, went and built a multi-million-dollar cleaning business. Some other guys, man, went and built a demo company where they would come in uniforms of guys they were bringing out of recovery houses to go in and do the demolition work on construction sites. They started a construction company. Anyway, you see what I'm saying, man? You see what I'm saying? If the worship team, if y'all are still around, y'all can come back up. If you're already gone, that's fine too. But this is what I am wanting you to see and you to understand the heart behind this place. Like, it's a big treatment center. I can't run it like a 10-person treatment center, and be up in, every single story, everybody's detail of their life. But if you understand, I think, the founding principles and what drives this place and why we exist, then hopefully that's going to help you to buy in and to change your relationship. And what I mean change your relationship with, some of you are sitting in here right now and you see me as the man, you know what I'm saying, that's trying to brainwash you. What? What? First of all, you absolutely 100% need to be brainwashed, okay? Number two, you have hired me. I work for you, okay? As a matter of fact, you the man. You the man. I'm up here on a Friday night, not with my wife and not eating a steak like I want to be, working for you. I'm working for you. You the man. I am here to serve you, to make sure that you get it right, that you get well. Why are you looking at it any other way? I ain't the man up here trying to brainwash you. I am working for you. I'm cleaning your yard right now. I mean, I'm not but the weed control guy up here trying to, kill all the stinking Johnson grass out of your yard. I mean, that's it. I'm just trying to get you into a spot where you can see, stop looking at it like we're not on the same team or it's some different spot. We are all in this. I don't win unless you win. You getting up and blowing out a group and acting like a jerk and doing all that stuff. Yeah, I gotta take a look at some of that stuff and make sure it doesn't negatively impact the program. We're gonna have grace where you got a bad attitude and you blow up one day. Man, we'll deal with all that. But if you consistently are dude, I'm gonna try to undermine what y'all are doing right here. Why? Why would you do that? Why would you try to kill some of these people in here? You be the first one too. I promise you this. Some of y'all that are the worst ones in here, when somebody in this program right here goes out and overdoses, you be the first one to share their picture. Rest in peace, young homie. You did it. You're the one that helped kill him. You hear me? By you not paying attention, you might as well have had the stinking gun in your hand. Rest in peace. Idiot. You did it. Sorry, not sorry. I need you to understand that. We are on the same team. Stop undermining the process. All these people around here are here to serve you. So here's the deal, man. Altars are open. It's a weird transition into an altar call. I ain't never been the 3 points appointment of prayer kind of guy. And, I get amazed at pastors that do that. I'm like, man, they just slid this whole thing in here or whatever. Look, here's the deal. The altars are open. If If you want to come up here and pray, you want to come up here and get your life right, this has hit you in some kind of way, you know that you've been that guy, or you feel like, man, I need to get dialed in, these altars are open for you to come up here and pray. If y'all want to come up here, it's open.